Yo, how's it going, guys? Welcome. Psycho here, coming at you with another video of how to speedrun Alien Isolation for the no major glitches category. Now we are talking about mission 7. This is a really hard mission to speedrun. Usually my runs end here. So I'm going to be to tell you everything I know, my thought process for this mission right now. So let's go in. I'm going to be not playing the game myself, because this mission has so many different variations because of RNG. I'm using my old runs to explain you what happened exactly in my runs, so that I can explain you better what you should think about and how you should improvise here, So let's hop right into it. So this is one of my recent runs. Let's wait here for a second. You saw me here banging on the ceiling. We thought that it would actually draw the alien over to this point so that it doesn't drop later on when we are running. But from my experience now, I could tell you that this banging doesn't bring that much, actually. I think it's more superstition, but we don't know it yet, You could try it, but I think I'm not going to try it again in my next runs. So let's continue. So always watch out in this vent here for loot. There's some loot over to this side here. And there should be, usually there's loot right there. Exactly, there was a flare right there. So scrap and sensors. As soon as we drop out of the vent, we go straight to the humans, and I'm going to explain you something once I see it here. All right, it's hard to see, but we can still see it because of the the play icon. But I'm going to show you something. So we have the black guy. We call him Jeremy. We have him right here. You can see him. There's actually two different types of RNG you can get here. You can get him in your way, which is exactly like this pattern. Those two guys here that you see there, those two guys here, they always stand there, they always stand like this. But the black guy is actually patrolling from this side to this side over here. And the other pattern you can get is that he's not in your way, he's somewhere over here. And that's usually the better one, because this one wastes a little bit of time. The only thing you have to do, we are going straight through the middle here. So we want to just charge the whole way. And we want to see them, we don't want to see them us sprinting early on, you want to avoid that. They will see us, but you want that to happen very, very late, So if it's too early for them to see us, the aggro level of the Steve will actually rise. Steve is the alien. If you haven't already noticed that, we call the alien Steve. So if I see you too early, the aggro level of the alien will rise, the threshold will rise, and is more likely to drop. The longer they see you, the more likely he is to drop. Keep that in mind. So we are actually trying to avoid that by crouching until to a point where you see where I'm starting running. I'm getting up and down to be a little bit faster with crouching, and at one point I'm just start running, and yeah, let's just see it, what I'm doing in here. Jeremy's in my way. So keep in mind, Wait a second, I need to see, I'll show you something again, just for illustration. If, this is important, if Jeremy here is in your way, you can only walk up until to this point over here. Don't go farther than that, you know. If he's not in your way, you can actually walk up until this point over here, you know. But if he's in your way, you have to stop walking, because if you do walk here, he will hear you and then he will kill you, right? And if you want to practice this, don't go and save back here. You should not. Wait seconds. Yeah, you should not. It's a bit shitty player, Twitch player. You should not save back here to practice this. Do not do that. You know, this will mess up the patterns completely. So it would not give you a good practice point. Always start the mission from the beginning. Always do that. So don't save here. So let's just continue and see what I'm doing here. See, I'm crouching up and down. Then I'm waiting for him to pass. He will actually, you can hear him. He will actually start hearing me right at this point here, over here. That's where I usually start running, you know. Let's go. And here we go. Always, I need to say this as well. If you run past this guy here, keep it as much as left as you can, you know. Keep it to the gurney here. Don't run past him here, because if you touch him just a little bit or go too close, he will shoot you immediately, you know. So always run right next to the gurney. Let's go. Keep to the wall left here, and then go straight to the wall, so that you actually avoid the being seen level. You know what I told you before. You should not be seen as much as you can, you know, because that just raises the aggro level of Steve, and that's bad. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing a shot here. I'm placing a precisely timed revolver shot right into this room over here, and you should do it about here, I would say, at this point. Get out make sure you have selected the revolver with one, and grab it out and shoot right into the room, and then continue running. This may fail due to RNG, you know. Steve may drop like this, and if he does drop, you have to restart the mission from the beginning. Usually for me, this is a run ender. If Steve drops, this could happen, you know. But if he does, just keep in mind this threat doesn't work anymore if he drops, you know. The human pattern is probably fucked right then, and yeah, everything else is fucked as well. You could still continue doing the normal threat, like getting out the android and making him open or kill him and grab the keycard, open the warehouse and grab the cylinder and go to the elevator. But yeah, you just have to be careful, you know. Usually when he drops, he usually chases you. So let's see. Doing that shot right here, you see that? You have to do it into the room, then just run all the way. What this does, guys, just to wait a second, what this shot does, it actually makes the humans wonder what that was, and they will check it out, you know. And what we are doing here is we are forcing humans to open the door to the warehouse instead of the android, you know. This is way faster than going for the android. This is like a minute or even more faster. So, but it can seriously fail because it doesn't always work. Just keep that in mind, you know. You have to get all 3 humans to come over to that door, and one of the humans should open it back then, you know. Otherwise, this threat will not work. So, let's go ahead. Always listen for Steve to drop. If you hear him drop somehow, you know the pattern is fucked and you can't continue doing this threat here, you know. What I'm doing, I'm grabbing the upgrades. Can't hear. Then I'm going to save. Nice intervents. This is not a safety save. I'm quickly going to reload the game again. So I'm explaining why I'm doing this. You know, I said we did the shot and we want the humans to open the door. Save and reload actually forces the humans to be at the door faster. You know, just a little trick to get the humans to the door faster. You know, and it also it's also a nice tip if you have the alien in the room right next to you, this will actually make the alien go away, you know. It will not reset the aggro level or something. He will drop pretty immediately as well. But you could actually avoid being killed like this if you do that, you know. If you don't want to go around the alien or something, just do that and the alien should disappear, you know. But for this, we are just doing it for to make the humans be faster at the door, so that the door is almost already open right when we arrive there, you know. So let's continue this. He is in the vents. I'm usually looting the body, just timing. You have enough time to loot that body. Then I'm walking with a little bit of sprint tapping. Then what I'm doing, I'm running and I'm making extra noise. I'm making extra noise here with crouch tapping, so we call this psycho hopping, just to make a little bit of extra noise, you know. We want actually to bring Steve over. You can hear him in the vents, and he will usually go over to this point. You can, just by hearing, you can hear him up in the ceiling going from this point over to this point over here, you know. Just listen to them, to that, you know. Usually you can hear it, but it isn't 100% guaranteed, you know. So what am I doing? What I'm doing here to make extra noise is he should be over there. So you can actually hear one of the humans open the door. Just listen carefully what the human is doing. You can hear a beep and then the door opening. You know, that's a human opening the door to the warehouse. And if you hear that, you can actually, I'm usually doing even more noise as soon as I hear that. So you could bang the wall. I usually do a revolver shot. Sometimes I don't. When I'm really hearing him going over, you know, in the vents, I usually don't do it. But if I don't hear him going over, I usually do an extra revolver shot. Make sure the door isn't open yet when you do that, because it could alert one of the humans. That way, Steve is much more likely to drop afterwards, you know. And I want him to drop here because I want him to kill the other 2 guys, you know. Because if he doesn't, and I'm showing this later, what happens if he doesn't, because it can happen, or it's totally RNG. And yeah, but this is actually, I think this is a playthrough where it worked out completely fine. So let's just see. I'm doing a shot. You see the other two humans. The other two humans are right there. You know, this is Jeremy here. This here is Jeremy and this friend. And I usually want to. Steve to actually drop. There is a vent over here, right here. I want Steve with that shot. I want Steve to drop right here. You know, right there. And if he does that, he will actually kill those two guys. You know, and I want to kill this guy here. You know, because yeah, it's just part of the strat. You know, you have to kill this guy with the wrench. The best. You could kill him with the revolver as well, but I'm you know, ammunition is scarce on Nightmare, so I want to save that. And I don't know what happens actually if you kill him with the revolver shot. Maybe you can, you know, maybe you could try it, but it's actually pretty dangerous because if you don't time this right here, he will actually shoot you, you know. So you have to wrench him really fast that he doesn't shoot you. It's a bit dangerous. So let's continue. Killing him. You saw Steve dropped. It's great. What I'm doing here. Let me show you a little bit. Perfect. This is good. All right. Depending on when Steve drops, he can kill Jeremy first, which was farther ahead, you know. And the other guy could actually run right into the warehouse with you. And if the other guy runs into the warehouse with you, he could actually shoot you because he's scared that he sees you. So if you notice that Steve drops early and kills Jeremy, you go just wait a second. I have selected it. And you notice that the other guy is running towards you and coming into the room with you. You actually just go around this crate here. Because the human will actually usually go right behind you and go to the crate right behind you. I can't show you this because I'm not turned like this. But there's a crate in the edge to the right, and he will usually go there, you know. And by going to around this crate here, he will there's just a timing thing, you know. He usually doesn't see you and he will usually not shoot you. The alien will go also into the warehouse with you if he's in the warehouse, and he will kill him, you know. And you are actually safe to lower this over here, this rack. And yeah, then you're fine to continue. But there's also a case that the other guy doesn't even follow you into the warehouse and just runs the corridor down. And that way you will just hear maybe some music from the alien killing the humans. But the important thing really is that Steve drops. That's the most important thing you have to remember. He has to drop into the corridor and kill at least one of the humans, you know. So, because the other human will usually try to hide, and sometimes one of the humans will survive it, but they will still hide, you know, when you get out. And that way you're usually safe. So let's just continue now. That I think he hasn't followed me. You know, he saw me a little turn. There's actually you saw that? Wait a second. All right, I had to cut this quickly. I'm sorry. The Twitch player actually screwed me. So let's continue this. I'm here at the rack. There's actually. Let me show you this again. Perfect. There's actually an item over here. It's a guaranteed injector. You see, I usually move the rack down. Then I'm trying to grab that injector. And then I'm moving the next rack down. What is he doing? You actually also saw Steve chasing the other human down the corridor, so he didn't went with me into the warehouse. Avoid the electricity, of course, and this is a guaranteed blasting cap over here, so grab it. Push this button to grab out the flashbang, and let's continue. And there's a guaranteed blasting cap right over here as well. Remember that. There's actually also, if you want a flare, there's also a flare back on the rack where you grab the cylinder on the other side, but it wastes too much time. I'm not grabbing that one. And yeah, I make some extra noise here because the alien actually chased the other human, and after that you're actually behind electricity, and let me explain you how the alien AI works here. If he isn't capable of reaching you, which he isn't because you are behind electricity, there's actually a vent behind the electricity, so he could actually reach you, but that's also a timing thing, From this side over here, he was right there killing the humans, right? He has to go up to the vent to come over to me, So he's actually in the vent now. I know that, And what I'm trying to do here, I'm doing some more noise here, right, in this part over here. So basically from this point over here, you have to time it right. You can't really make noise right here, because if you start making noise right here where I am now, you will drop too early, But you have to gauge this a little bit to try this out, when you have to start to make noise, because I want to make some more noise so that it does drop here in the warehouse. There's actually a vent right to the right side here, where he usually drops. That's what I want, I want to drop him into the warehouse. That's why I've equipped a flashbang. Sometimes he chases me, right? And if he does chase me, I have the flashbang out. And if I hear him chasing me after that, I will drop down the flashbang and then just continue running, I'm going to show you this in another run, because this here actually was a perfect mission 7. I didn't even have to use the flashbang. Didn't even have to use the vent I'm going to show you later on. I could just run just until the end to the elevator, But yeah, I think I used the flashbang just for safety reasons. So let me show you that. So I'm making some more noise, you see, with psycho-hopping and with the wrench as well. I can't hear him dropping now. You see, Jeremy was right there. That's one of the things I want to show you. Ooh. Twitch player, please. Oh, Twitch player. That's one of the hiding spots of Jeremy, Right here he is. And you have to be careful. I would suggest it. He can't really see you if he sees you too long. So if you run a really light angle like this or something, he will see you too long and he will shoot you right away, So keep to the wall right here. And yeah. And then after that, he would have to, he will still see you, and then he will try to walk around this and tries to kill you. So try to avoid his view angle as much as possible. So I usually run like this, then I run to the wall here, and then I run this wall right to the end, So that if you run if you hug this wall over here, he will see you earlier, So keep that in mind. He could live and he could kill you. So let's go. So now I'm not hugging the wall, but it worked out no matter. I can't really, wait a second. This is important. at this point, I mean, I could have run just through the middle here, which actually makes a lot of noise. But there's actually a safety vent. I'm going to show this later, right here, because this run actually doesn't have it in it. So if you hear Steve chasing you, I would actually lay down in that part where you saw Jeremy. I would lay down the flashbang on the ground, and Steve will actually trigger it, and he will be stunned for like 2 to 3 seconds or so. That will give you enough time to go to that vent over here and actually wait for him to charge you, and then be safe. But I'm showing you this later in another run. This time I couldn't hear him chasing you, but I'm still running this way, because if I hear him chasing me, at this point, I will go straight to the vent, But at this point, I still couldn't hear him chasing me, so I decided to just YOLO to the end, to the elevator right here, right? So let's see what I did there. See, I made a huge turn here. I went to the elevator. What I'm doing now is important as well. Steve is still here, he's not away or something. Maybe he's dropped in the warehouse, I can't really tell. But there is a vent over here. And I'm actually laying down the flashbang right under this vent, right at probably this point. You have to press it earlier, because I think it says you have to press R to drop it down, and the animation to trigger takes a little bit of time when you're running, so I'm usually pressing, I think, right about this point over here, so that the animation triggers right at this point, So if he still drops at this vent, he will be stunned by the flashbang, which will give me a little bit more time to go into the elevator after I put in the cylinder, right? Make sure to watch the wall if you do that. Don't turn around and look if he's coming at you, because if you do, the flashbang will also flash you, which would be bad. Agreed. There's usually also the possibility that he doesn't drop at this vent, but he drops at the vent back in the room. And that way I would actually, after you put in the cylinder, I would stand at this point, Don't stand here, because you have laid down the flashbang over here. The vent is right here, and Steve needs to run, doesn't need to run. You want him to trigger the flashbang, So I'm standing right here. When I hear him chasing me from the room, you should trigger that flashbang. And then I'm just going into the vent while he's stunned a little bit and try to escape him as fast as possible, But just keep in mind, always watch the wall. Even if you hear him and you're scared, no matter what, just watch the wall. It happens to me as well. I watched him, I got flashed. I couldn't see anything where I'm going. Actually, I could have saved it. Could have just go into the elevator, but I couldn't see shit. So I was dead, So let's see. Laying it down, you see. Putting it in. I couldn't even hear him. Watching the room, staying at this point. And then I'm going in, pressing it. And all is fine. Right? Perfect. Perfect. So, that's how you do the first part of missions. I'm going to show the later part later on. So let's switch to another video, how I did the other part. So let's see. Same thing, making some more noise here. I opened it too early. But that's actually a good thing, you know. That's a good thing to show. A pattern that is completely fucked up. That's a good thing to show. And it actually could have worked out, you know. I want to show you something. I opened that door. If you open that door too early, you know, one of the guys will actually probably hear you and be alerted. And you see that actually right here, this guy, he's always watching you now, you know. He's not going away. You don't want that, you know. That's why it was completely screwed here. He doesn't go away, you see that? But Steve actually still drops. Which wastes a lot of time. And you could actually, this is one of my last saves I'm usually doing when I'm improvising. There's actually a cylinder right here, this red one. You can actually shoot that cylinder to make Steve go away, you know. Steve doesn't like fire, you know. And I actually could have saved this one here if I had waited a little bit longer and it didn't run into the fire afterwards, you know. That way it would actually maybe worked out, you know. So let's see what happened here. Let's delete this and let's go. I'm killing all of them with the cylinder, and then I'm running into the fire, right? Stupid. I could have saved it, you know, I could have saved it. I think I'm actually trying it again. Going on. What? Yeah, I'm trying it again. But the run was actually over here. The run was over. But I'm just trying it again for practice purposes, you know. So I'm hearing open the door. Making the shot.
Oh, he's already here. Oh my god.
Steve dropped very early now. So that actually the guy already ran into the warehouse. And that's actually a bad thing, you know. You need to kill this guy. Because if he sees you running towards the rack, he will actually kill you now. That's why I'm killing him here. Bam. This is super dangerous what I did here. The alien is right here. You saw that? The alien was actually chasing the other guy right into the warehouse. He was right here. He just kills another human right here. So this is almost a death here. Because, you know, he will chase me now. But I'm behind the electricity, I'm fine. I'm not grabbing the blasting cap here because I already had pretty good loot in this run here. And this is something I want to show you as well. You see, you don't have to be scared. You see Steve over here, right? Right? Remember what I said earlier about being behind the electricity and he's not capable of reaching you? Steve is actually a lock-on mode. I'm going to explain this shortly. If he can't reach you, he's not capable of reaching you physically, he will go into a lock-on mode for vents, you know. He will target a random vent which is near him. Most likely the nearest one. And that's actually this one over here. That is right here. And he will go to that vent no matter what. No matter how much noise you make. You can even touch him. It's no problem. He will go to that vent and he will go up that vent, you know. He will drop again pretty much after that, but he will go up that vent, you know. And it's pretty funny because I actually disabled the electricity right here. You can see no more electricity right around here. And I ran, you know, I just ran and he didn't chase me. That's his lock-on mode. It's a pretty funny thing, but it works pretty well. So don't be scared if you see him here. If you make much noise here behind the electricity, he will go up that vent, you know, and you can just run past him. No problem. So let's see what I'm doing here. See, he goes up the vent, having the blasting cap, making some more noise so that he should drop again pretty much after. He does not drop into the warehouse now because he went up the vent pretty early on, you know. But now I'm still listening. If he's coming at me, I'm making more noise. I'm going to that safety vent I talked about earlier. I'm hearing him chasing me, you know. And you have to practice this a little bit. If he's really near you, usually takes some time to make a U-turn over here. So you can actually wait until you see him, or do it earlier if you want to be really safe. So what I'm doing now, I'm explaining you this again. It's actually the same thing as in the warehouse I explained earlier. This vent here is actually a little, some people call it a little glitch. This is no major glitches, you know, this is not glitchless. But I actually wouldn't call it a glitch. I would call it a level design error, you know. It's the same thing as with the electricity. Steve is not capable of reaching you physically here and here. And he can't go over open vents. He just can't. It's a game mechanic, you know. You can't go over open vents as well. You will fall into them if you do. No? So if you open that vent and you run over it, you will fall into it. Just a game mechanic. Steve can't fall into it, you know. He can't reach you if you open that vent. Funny, right? So I wouldn't call this a glitch. I would just call it they didn't thought about it, you know, that something like this should be possible. But still, this is no major glitches. We allow that that broken mechanic, so to say. We just allow it for the funs, you know. NMG is all about fun and challenge. So we allow this, and it's a safety measure you can take. It's actually my safety event, basically, you know. It's my last resort. So let's see what I'm doing. I'm opening, then I'm opening, right? Then I'm making some more noise. By making more noise, it's the exact same thing as in the warehouse, making noise behind the electricity. He will actually go into the lock-on mode I told you about earlier. He will go into the lock-on mode, go to that vent, and in this mode, you can actually touch him. You can run circles around him. He will not harm you, you know. It's exactly what I'm doing here. As soon as you see him turn around and go into the lock-on mode, then you're fine to run just past him. And that's exactly what I'm doing. See? Easy. But you have to be fast now. You have to go to the compression cylinder, and right after the door opens, just go straight into the elevator and push the button. I'm not doing that here because the run is over anyways. So I just did it for practice. And you see, it still saved me a flashbang because it didn't chase me earlier, you know. But I'm sure going to show you how I would do an escape while he's chasing me, you know. Right. All right, this is another thing I wanted to show you if Steve doesn't drop. No. There's still a chance Steve will not drop into the corridor, kill the two humans. There's a chance of him not doing that, you know. And I'm actually starting to improvise if he doesn't. You can actually stun the humans that are in your way on the exit, and then use them as cannon fodder for Steve. And this is pretty funny and super dangerous, guys. So I would suggest, if you don't get Steve to drop into the warehouse, just reload from the last save, which is right back there, you know, I just made here. I would suggest you doing that first before you start trying to do this threat, because this threat is super dangerous, because there's no guarantee that you can flash them, you know. Sometimes the flash doesn't really work because some obstacles are in the way or so. And then you're screwed, you know. They will shoot you. They are still revolver guys. They are super deadly on Nightmare, so keep that in mind. So let's see what I'm doing here. Same thing, making noise here. Then you see Jeremy turned around, but Steve didn't drop.
Don't come to this door, Jeremy. Dang it, he dropped in here.
Getting the guaranteed plasma. I'm making some noise here.
Oh, this will be funny.
Getting the flashbang out. Then I'm doing the same thing. I'm making some noise here a little bit. You saw that. I want to make him. I want to make Steve drop into the warehouse. That's important that he does that, you know, because otherwise this would not work, you know. I want him to chase me down the corridor so that he can use. I can use the humans as cannon fodder. So let's see what I'm doing. I'm throwing the flashbang at them. Super dangerous. They are flashed. I'm running around them.
Yes, baby. Kill him.
Steve chasing them and killing them. I'm going to the safety vent. Yes. That was actually a funny thing. That's a glitch that happened. You heard that kill animation. That should actually not happen, you know, but it can happen. That's the first time I've ever saw this happen to me in a run. You heard the death animation, just the sound of it. And now the game thinks, sound-wise, I'm dead. You know, I'm not dead, but sound-wise, I'm dead. But it's not you know, Steve can still kill you. So I'm going to the safety vent here because I was so confused. You can see he was crawling around. It's so strange. It's such a strange bug that happened. I'm doing the same thing with the vent. But he was done killing the two humans.
What?
Yeah, I'm just doing the same thing. Don't need the flashbang anymore. Well, you already wasted on the humans. So this is another really dangerous threat you could do. The most dangerous, actually. So, yeah. Let me show you how I do with the flashbang if he's chasing me. All right, this is a version where Steve actually didn't. It's actually the same thing as the first version I showed you. Steve actually didn't chase me, but he still triggered the flashbang. So let's watch it. Making noise here. This is actually perfect. Steve drops right away, you see that.
Perfect.
I'm running around the crates because I know that the guy chased me into the warehouse. You see, he is killing him in the warehouse, which is perfect. Doing the same thing, grabbing out the flashbang. He goes up the vents. Then I'm just running, same thing, making some more noise here. Carefully hearing if he's chasing me. He isn't. If he's chasing me, I would lay down the flashbang and go to the safety vent. Now I can't hear him chasing me, so I'm running straight to the elevator, dropping down the flashbang here. This is super dangerous. Now you hear him chasing me.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy fuck! That was frames away from death. Right, that was frames away from death. That's exactly it. You know, that was super dangerous. But I wanted to show you this, why we lay down that that flashbang over there, and it's dangerous. You know, keep that in mind. It's dangerous. All right, let me show you what happens if one of the humans is still alive and is in the big room at the beginning. I'm on the exit right now, so let's see. One of the humans is still alive and is right in my way over there. It's actually Jeremy. I kill him for a precaution measure. Then I'm going to the safety vent, waiting for Steve to drop. And make him go away right that, you know. If you get a human in your way and is in that hole, try to kill him before Steve is able to reach you, you know. Just do that. Right, let me show you what I'm doing if he is chasing me, either from the warehouse or if he just drops afterwards and tries to chase me, you know. Let me show you what I'm doing there, how I'm using the flashbang for that. Oh my god. You see, that was super close. That was extremely close. He dropped. As soon as he dropped, if he drops, I would just lay down that that flashbang, just press it right away, because you know, that takes a little bit of time, you know, before that animation triggers. And you could be dead, you know, by then. If he's right behind you, you will be dead, actually. That was extremely close. After that, he's stunned for like 2 to 3 seconds, and you are able to escape him to the safety vent here. You see? Then you're doing the same thing, and you're escaping. That's all there is, right? I want to, just for the mention, there's actually another strat Twitchy came up with. You could also try to escape without using a flashbang or anything. If you can't hear him chasing you, and if he's dropping right in the hole when you are reaching about this point over here, when he's dropping right behind you in the hole, you can actually try to go into this vent over here. And this is probably a little glitch. If you do that, you could try it. But he has to drop right into the hole, right when you are at this point over here. Otherwise, it would not work, you know. Go into this vent, and he would stop chasing you. He would probably the same thing with the lock-on mode I told you earlier. I don't know why that is, but it's probably some sort of a small glitch, so that this actually works. He will just go up into the vent, and you can actually go into the vent, then go right back out of it again, and go to the elevator, put it in, and move on. You know, you will be safe. He wouldn't. He would go up the vent and try to drop into the vent right here somewhere, and that way he would waste too much time to get to you, you know, and you would be able to get to the elevator in time. So just to mention that strat as well. To sum it up here. You can also do just walk out, you know, after you got the compression cylinder. If you don't want this spicy stuff here, you could first just try to walk out, you know. You could always try to just walk, you know. At the beginning thing you can't really do with walking. You have to do this fast. But the exit, you could just walk, you know. Just if you are not that confident enough, just walk. Yeah. So I'm not going to explain the other slower strats you could do with the Android. Just keep in mind, if you do the Android strat, you need and you use the stun button to kill him. Keep in mind that that I will show you the fastest strat for mission 8, and that requires you to have a stun button. And usually you are not able to get 2 stun buttons until mission 8, you know. So just keep that in mind, that you shouldn't use the stun button on him if you have only 1. I mean, you can still do mission 8 without stun button, but it will be much slower and much more dangerous as well, I think. Well, it is still dangerous what I'm doing mission 8, but whatever. So let me show you the rest of this mission. So I'm in the elevator at the end. And this is actually pretty easy. I'm usually healing right here. I'm using the opportunity to heal here because I haven't healed yet. Depending on how much damage you took, of course. But I'm doing a really dangerous damage strat in mission 8 where I take at least 55% damage. So you need to heal. 1 heal gives you about 50% health on Nightmare. Keep that in mind. If you want to test out if you are full health, you can just try to trigger the animation. You know, get out the med kit, press R and just release it right away. Don't use it. And if the animation comes up, you know, I think did I do it here? Let me see if I did it. Probably not. I took out the medkit. That animation here, you can actually cancel that by just releasing R or whatever you press right there, you know. Just cancel it, and if the animation comes up, you know that you are not 100% health. If it doesn't come up, you are at 100% health. Just that easy. So let's continue here. This is actually pretty easy. This is not... oh my God. The rest is just running. So that was amazing. Let me show you this quickly here. I'm waiting, pausing here for a second. So these humans up here, they're actually triggered by a cutscene in game. The alien will actually drop here, grab, I think it's this one here, grab one of them and then go down here. And during this animation, they are completely stuck, you know. And somehow you can just run here to the ladder, go up the ladder and just run past them without them harming you, you know. It's totally easy to do. It's not rocket science. It's safe. It's just do it. So we go up the ladder, no problem. You can even touch the guys, no problem. There's usually loot over here on the table as well. So grab that loot, go to the elevator, and then we are done with mission 7, right? Amazing. So thank you so much for watching that lengthy mission 7 video, guys. Leave a like if you liked it. Ask anything you like in the comments down below. And subscribe if you haven't already. And we see us in the next one. Bye bye.